Hello, Darren the Magic Ghostbuster here. I am in my kitchen for this video because I'm going to be dyeing this Navy Blue Tru-Spec jumpsuit into the more accurate grey as seen in some of the scenes in Ghostbusters 2. Like when they're running down the street and they've got their Santa hats on. Now, some of you watching this may be going, hold on a second, weren't they blue in that scene? They weren't actually, but I will go a little bit more into that shortly in the video. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about this. So I'm no expert at dyeing stuff. I have dyed a few things in my washing machine before, but yeah, far from an expert. So, but what I'm going to be doing is we need to remove the colour from this first. So the brand I've used in the past is called RIT. So I found their colour remover, and then I'm using their grey colour as well, which we're going to use after we've removed the colour. This is pale grey. Looking at their website, it suggests how many packs of this you need depending on the size of the load that you're trying to dye or remove colour from. And it said 3 packs for a large, and I'm going to call this a large. I don't really know if that would be considered a medium or large, but better to be safe than sorry. Now, obviously, when you are working with any kind of colour remover, bleach or anything, I recommend just wearing some older clothes like I've got on now. So don't wear your funky Ghostbusters t-shirts or anything like that, because you don't want to get stains on them. I mean, hopefully that's not going to happen, but better to be safe than sorry. But one other little thing is, so the instructions are on the inside of the box, and they appear to be American instructions, because when it's talking about like how much water to use, it's in cups, like these sort of things. But if you look on their website, which is the ones I'm going to be using, they're in good old milliliters. So yeah, anyway, the first step is you need to wash this. I've already washed this, so it's all nice and clean, and then you need to wet it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it on a rinse cycle and then let that run, and we'll come back and we'll start doing all the colour removal process. Okay, so run a spin cycle, so the jumpsuit's now wet. One thing I should have mentioned, if you have put patches on your jumpsuit before doing this, remove them, because you don't want to remove the colour from your patches. So let's have a quick look at the instructions on the website. Now, you don't have to use a washing machine. There's instructions for different methods, doing it in a sink bucket, stovetop, or obviously there's a top loading washing machines or a front loading one like mine. So it says wet the fabric, which we've already done, and then it says set the temperature to the hottest possible setting and a wash cycle of at least 30 minutes or longer. So the hottest setting on my washing machine is 90 degrees, and it appears the quickest setting time-wise is 2 hours and 26 minutes, so that's going to take a while. But next up is to mix the solution together. So we've got 3 packets of the colour remover, and we mix that with 950 millilitres of water. So that's and obviously be careful with this stuff. As I said, you don't want to get this over you if you can help it. That's why you wear old clothes when doing this sort of stuff. Don't wear your good stuff. It's gone all yellow, this water. Now, it didn't specify how hot the water has to be, so I just boiled some water and let it sit for not too long, but let's mix that together. So I'm using a screwdriver just because I didn't really want to use one of my spoons, even though I'm going to wash it. I don't know, just didn't like the idea of that. So mix that together. I'll give it another mix in a minute. Quick look at the instructions again. So start cycle and then remove the tray and pour it in, and then you have to flush that again with another 950 milliliters of hot water. So what we'll do is we'll start the cycle. I'll give this another little mix. There we go. Pour that in. Oh, alright, let's stand up and do this. This is why I said wear old shit. Oh, I'm getting that everywhere. Not a very good jug, that. Doesn't smell very pleasant either, but then we're going to flush that with another 950. Sorry, it's a weird angle on the camera. Let's just grab some kitchen towel. Told you I'm not an expert at this stuff. And then flush that. Okay, so I've got some mopping up to do down here. Not too much, but a little bit. So now we just have to wait really and see how this comes out, and hopefully it will come out good. And then it's on to the... Well, it's not actually onto the dyeing phase yet. Assuming it comes out okay and not horribly patchy and the colour actually gets removed, you then have to wash it, dry it, and then you're onto the dyeing process. So anyway, so what we're going to do is I'm going to let that run. We'll come back shortly, but let's spend a moment to talk about why the jumpsuits are actually grey and not blue. So the colour of the Ghostbusters 2 darker jumpsuit has caused arguments among fans for years. Is it navy blue? Is it charcoal? But at least it's not as bad as Han Solo's Hoth jacket in Empire Strikes Back, which is something even the toy companies have still never been able to figure out. So what hasn't helped this argument is the fact that the jumpsuits do appear to be different colours in different types of media. Like in the film, you mainly see these in the montage sequence. To me, they've always looked grey, they've never looked blue. But you might disagree with that. I know people that say they look blue in that scene, and I think that's because we see things differently, and also it could even be down to like colour settings on your TV, who knows. But then if you look at promo material studio shots, they definitely look blue. In this book, if you don't own this, I highly recommend it. It's the Ghostbusters Ultimate Visual History. There's lots of studio shots of them in those jumpsuits, and in those there's no doubt that they look blue. Now the fact that they look blue in some things and grey in another means I would actually consider them, even though they're not screen accurate, I would consider the blue ones still kind of accurate because that's how they look in official promo material. And also the blue looks cool, but I want to go accurate with the film, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing in this video. Another thing is the off-the-rail jumpsuits, like Tru-Spec is the one I'm using, but there's other brands that look similar, don't seem to come in that grey colour. They come in blue, the khaki beige, black. If you've ever wanted to make a grey one, you've either had to dye it or have a custom made one. But I think either's fine and you'll look great in either. But obviously, as I said, I'm concentrating on screen accurate, and the grey is definitely 100% screen accurate. I'll tell you why in a second. But before I do, I just want to read this cool little thing from the novelisation of Ghostbusters 2. Because they could have been different if they went with the novel. And it says, Venkman looked up as Stance, Spengler and Winston walked sheepishly downstairs wearing the Ghostbusters uniforms Venkman had commissioned for their new incarnation. The uniforms were designed in a weirded out military style in day-glow colours, dripping with medals and topped with ridiculous berets. So there's a little interesting thing from the novel there. Anyway, why is it the grey definitely 100% screen accurate? Well, if you look at like all the figures, so we've had Ghostbusters 2 figures from Mattel, Diamond Select, they're definitely grey. They've got that right. There's official Ghostbusters 2 uniform made by HalloweenCostumes.com. That came out last year, I believe. You look at that, that is definitely grey. And one of the original screen used costumes has been discovered, and I believe that's now in the hands of the Shrek Family Collection, and they've shared pictures of that, and there's no doubt it's grey. So all the evidence basically points to it being grey. Grey is 100% the screen accurate. But as I said, if you prefer the blue, and I love blue, that is totally fine to wear. And at the end of the day, you don't have to go screen accurate. Not everyone does. I know Ghostbusters that wear red jumpsuits, black jumpsuits. They all look cool. Just basically do what you want to do. Okay, so it's finished its cycle now, and let's take a look. And well, that's definitely removed the blue from that. I mean, that doesn't look far off the colour I want it, actually, to be honest. It's looking very grey. So that's good. I mean, I'll still run it through with the dye as well. Just, why not? Yeah, so looking good. So what we have to do now is, if we put that back in the washing machine, need to run it on a proper wash cycle. Just make sure there's no little bits of colour remover left on it, I guess, and all that sort of stuff. And then it needs drying, and then it'll be ready to dye. Once I've finished washing this, I'm going to run the washing machine on a wash cycle with nothing in it, just to make sure there's definitely no more of the colour remover in there, just to make sure everything's clean basically before I dye it or do any more washing in between. Okay, so this is drying now, and yeah, looking really good. I feel like I just want it needs to be a little bit darker, so that's what I'm going to use. Still do the dyeing process, but I think you could almost get away with this, to be honest. But I'm going to do the dyeing anyway. So first thing is we need to put that in the washing machine, and I'm going to put that on a rinse cycle to get it wet. Okay, so my rinse cycle is done, so this is now nice and wet. So what I've done is I've prepared this jug, which is 250 grams of salt, and that is with 900 millilitres of hot water. And then I've got another 900 millilitres of hot water here, and that is what I'm going to put the dye in. So as I said with the bleaching process, don't wear anything, you know, any of your nice stuff, basically. Make sure you've yeah, wear old clothes basically, so not your nice Ghostbusters t-shirt. I know I'm repeating myself from earlier, but I feel that that is something that is worth repeating. So let's pour that in. So I'm doing 3 of these again. This is the one I'm using. So 3 again, just as I did with the colour remover. Should probably wear gloves for this as well, but I'll go and wash my hands straight away once I've finished this. So nice mix. So we're now going to put it on the same setting, hottest setting. So again, on mine it's 90 degrees. Sure that's nicely mixed. Now I actually have some paper towels on standby over here, they've rolled away. So we set the washing machine to go on the there we go, and then just as before we're going to pour the colour in first. I'm just going to have a few paper towels ready because I'm sure this is going to spill everywhere again. I think I've bought a really crap jug for this, but let's stand up and do this. And pour that in. And I don't seem to be making a mess here, which is good. Spill a little bit, It's good having towels on standby as well, because I feel like it is worth just wiping down surfaces. Just so none of this stains. Floor quickly. You don't want to stain anything. And then you're going to pour in the salt. And then I'm going to do another 900 millilitres of hot water. So I'll boil the kettle. And then let that run, basically. Yeah, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, as that's going, I'm going to wipe down all this just to make sure there's no bits that are going to stain the washing machine. But yeah, that's ready to go and be left alone until we come back to it. Okay, so that has done, and yeah, I think that's looking really good. So all that's left now is to give it a quick wash, and then dry it and put patches on and see how it looks. Okay, so I have all my patches on, and I must say I'm really happy with the results here. Really happy how the colour has come out. It's perfect, exactly what I wanted. So basically, now if you're planning on doing this yourself, you know that this recipe works with the Tru-Spec Navy Blue Jumpsuit. Obviously, I can't say for certain if it's going to work with other brands. I guess it depends on the material that they use. But yeah, let me know what you think. Are you going to do this to your own one or not? So maybe you're not into this Ghostbusters darker costume. But yeah, let me know what you think, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, keep on busting.